Hey guys, welcome back to the Bucket Think Tank. And I recently saw Justice League, and I didn't hate it. As a matter of fact, I liked it quite a bit. But in addition to what I did like, I did feel there were some problems, and a lot of these problems became a bit more apparent once you hear other stuff going on. Like, we do know that Zack Snyder had to sadly step down from the film after the death of his daughter, and Joss Whedon stepped in, and like him or hate him, Joss Whedon I think did a Joss Whedon job. But then we found out that there's at least an hour of Snyder footage that was removed from the film, so that's way more than what we were told he was just reshooting. And these involve scenes with Cyborg, with Aquaman, and presumably other scenes that I think really would have told us a much different film. But let's just ignore that for a bit, and we're just really going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of this film. And the biggest strength in this film is the characters, because a lot of this does sort of up a lot of characters that we sort of felt were a bit boring, like Cyborg. Like, I hate to say this, but Cyborg is really, really boring, especially in the comic books. Like, he hasn't really been that great since the Justice League cartoon. Here, and I think I really want to attribute it to Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher's acting, I felt, was really great, especially in the beginning of the film, when he's really selling home to the fact that he's playing someone who feels dead, who's not even sure if he's human anymore. And over the course of this film, he sort of comes into his own. And that's a big theme about this movie is we're bringing in the new age of heroes, and it's not just Batman, it's not just Wonder Woman, it's Aquaman, it's Cyborg, it's the Flash coming out of the shadows and stepping into the public eye. And that is sort of in the spirit of the story this book is based off. The story this movie is based off of, which is the New 52 Justice League story, where they, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg, all meet up for the first time and they fight back Darkseid. Aquaman, I felt, was a bit wasted here. To be fair, Jason Momoa's portrayal is great. He's fun. Aquaman is never dull on the screen, but it always felt like there was a bigger story that needed to be told, and you didn't really get that vibe from Cyborg and Flash. They felt like their stories were very easy to understand, but with Aquaman, there's this feeling that there is much more. The fact that he mentions in the film, and we're not going to go huge spoilers, that his mother, Queen Atlanta, abandoned him on his father's doorstep. So, which is why he feels like such an outsider on both land and sea. So, it works. The idea that he doesn't feel like he belongs anywhere, so he doesn't really care until he meets Steppenwolf in Atlantis, and as he steals the mother box. There's never a dull moment with Aquaman, but again, it feels like we needed more time to really figure out who he is and what his actual damage is as a character. Um, Flash was the most prominent of the new heroes to be seen in the trailers, and he worked. Like, he almost entered the level of cringe, but I always felt like either the script or Ezra Miller knew exactly how close to get to being cringe. Like, okay, and stop right there, and you may find his humor to sort of get on your nerves by the time you reach like the last leg of the movie. But until then, you're just going to enjoy every bit of him, I think. I love the sort of social awkwardness he brings to the role because, as opposed to the CW's Barry Allen, who is really good at a lot of things, but he chooses not to excel at them because he wants to help his father, this Barry Allen seems to barely be able to have friends because of how serious he is about getting his dad out of jail. And it's a good distinction, and I originally just wanted it to be Wally West in the movies, which I think would have helped separate the two, but this works. This works. Wonder Woman is fresh off of her own movie, so Gal Gadot, I think, has just been amazing as Wonder Woman so far. She brings this sort of motherly warrior, like there's a character in Soul Calibur a character named Sophitia, who I think really sort of encapsulates what Wonder Woman is. She's this sort of motherly warrior who really excels at picking you up and helping motivate you to get better, where Batman motivates you to go forward. Excuse me. And I think that's really great because I think a big problem we never really get with Wonder Woman is the balance between warrior and ambassador of peace. Because Wonder Woman could pretty much kill anybody she wants if she wanted to, but before she raises that fist or swings that sword, she extends that hand. And I think this is a bit better than what I want to say is the Justice League War Wonder Woman, who I felt was oddly out of place. And this is something that was also in the comic, because it didn't feel like there was much of an understanding of exactly how long Diana had been in man's world as opposed to anything else, which was an issue I had with New 52, was establishing a sort of continuity. Because, I mean, that one had a Wonder Woman who had been at least in man's world for at least a year and hadn't had ice cream, which made no sense, especially if that one, Steve Trevor is trying to, get with Wonder Woman, and he doesn't give the girl ice cream. I'm just saying. Ladies love ice cream. Everyone loves ice cream, except lactose intolerant people. Even they will muscle through it for the ice cream. Superman, because, Superman's in this movie. I think, without going too deep into spoiler territory, I think he almost ruins the last bit of the film because he sort of takes away the stakes. And while Steppenwolf isn't a very compelling villain, he's kind of ruined by the fact that Superman just kind of shows up. And I also don't like how much brighter his costume is here. And something about him does seem a bit off. And in the beginning, that off sort of worked. But then you realized they digitally removed his mustache. And I still don't know why he didn't just shave it. I don't know. Like, Henry Cavill, what's up with the mustache? Am I missing something? If anyone knows, please put it in the comments, because I don't know. And part of me doesn't really care. Batman, who he's been a bit hard to get in the Justice League New 52 comic. He's to an extent kind of there. Like, his main purpose in the comic was to just sort of be the leader, to an extent, just because he'll always keep going, and that's best shown when he is the one that goes to the boom tube to save Superman, or just the fact that he's not intimidated by people as he takes Green Lantern's ring off in both the comic and the animated movie, which was hilarious, honestly, but a bit continuity scratching because of the Green Lantern ring. But in this film, it's very clear that he is racked with a bit of guilt and a sense of loss of hope over the death of Superman. And again, this was something that was apparently more obvious in the original Snyder version of this film. But here he's very set on saying we have to bring people together. We have to usher in our own age of heroes. And he's very set on not picking he's gone to like the more extraordinary people, the Amazons, the Atlanteans, whatever we want to classify Barry as, and Cyborg. And he's, again, as compared to Wonder Woman, who picks you up, Batman's more about moving you forward. And he's doing that to everyone. He's really, if Superman isn't there to step up, he wants it to be Wonder Woman. And it doesn't really feel like Wonder Woman really wants to do it either, but she will if she has to. And so at the end of this, it's kind of wondering who's really going to be the actual leader. It might end up being Batman again, just because Batman just sort of has this ability to say, like, no, we have to keep going. We have to keep going forward. Batman's willing to deal with the ups and downs of pushing people forward. And this is shown in the film when he really tries to push Wonder Woman to take command, to take charge. And it's really good, actually. And there's only one problem with Batman's role in this film, and it's Ben Affleck. And it's not Ben Affleck's acting. And no, I think Ben Affleck was a great choice. He's proven it, I think, in Dawn of Justice, whether you liked it or not. And in this movie, the issue is all these rumors of him staying or not in the role of Batman. I think it is hurting this franchise a bit, because if you liked Ben Affleck Batman, or if you say like, well, he was good Batman, I'd go see more movies with him. Then you find, oh, well, he might not even be in the next one. Then why would I go see this one? It's a bit much, and it's sort of hurting the franchise a bit because it doesn't sound like this franchise has its head on right. And that's been a big complaint about this franchise, that there doesn't seem to be a proper direction as opposed to Marvel's huge epic plan. It's sort of interesting that DC Comics is doing really good, Marvel Comics is doing really bad, DC movies are doing ugh, and Marvel movies are just making it, just coming in that money. And I think it does come to the fact that Disney has this sort of, well, at least in the movies, this sort of huge net, this sort of huge presence that it says, okay, well, you've got this, you've got this, you've got this, there you go, and they'll let you do whatever you want until you start failing. And with DC, it doesn't feel there's that same sort of structure down there. I think they've also lost another executive, like they're switching out executives down at Warner Brothers for the movies, and I just don't know. I just don't know. So, going to the story itself, I felt the story was a bit cliche. It sort of stopped the vague, sort of dull CG monster guy from destroying the world. And the simplicity, I think, works if we're telling the sort of 3-hour movie we were supposed to. But this sort of fast-paced, tight story can work, but you're kind of wondering who is Steppenwolf. Like, Steppenwolf, who is Darkseid's uncle in the comics, I think isn't something that was played up in at least this version. It might have been in the Snyder Cut, we'll call it. But he just sort of feels like this is what he's supposed to do. Like, there's no bigger plan. If the bigger plan was that by doing this, it helps further Darkseid's plan, that's great. That works. But here it's sort of like, I destroy things because I have to destroy things. The big theme of this, I think, is unity. I mean, it's not that subtle a theme, as even Steppenwolf is trying to create this weapon called Unity by putting 3 mother boxes together. But it doesn't feel like there's a lot of work put into the storytelling. And again, maybe that's the cut, or maybe I missed something. I'm totally willing to admit I missed something, because the first time I see a movie, it takes a lot for me to say, that's stupid, that doesn't work. And there's only like one movie that generally got me to think that. And it was at least 5 minutes after I saw the movie. It was Frozen, by the way. And we will discuss Frozen soon, I promise you. But going back to this film, to Justice League, I think this was a decent movie. I think it was a good movie. Some days, well, actually I saw it yesterday, so some days is a really strong word. Sometimes I think I really like this film. Other days I think I just enjoyed it. I hope this isn't a forgettable movie. I hope that with Ben Affleck hoping to stay, that this movie will be looked at more fondly, that it will sort of reinvigorate people's interest in it. And from what I've heard in the foreign theaters, the foreign market, it's doing just as good, despite the 96 million disappointment at the box office, which I think, I really don't know how to feel about that. I don't really concern myself with the box office results, honestly. I don't really, a movie doesn't have to make a lot of money for me to like it. Hence my love of Snyder films. I liked Watchmen, I'll say it. But if this is the direction that Warner Brothers and DC want to go, they really have to get their house in order. I know we have the Shazam movie coming up. There's still talks of the Batman standalone film, Wonder Woman 2. There's talk of a Green Lantern movie in 2020. So we've got some good stuff, but where's the Justice League sequel? Seriously, where is that thing? Are they just waiting? I think, no. I mean, the numbers should be decent enough for us to say, okay, let's make the sequel. Unless the idea is we're going to let these standalone films happen and then go to the sequel, which is fine. The only character I think that was not helped by this was Aquaman, and he may have been helped in the original cut again, so I don't know. But at the end of this, I have to say that I, again, did like this film. The biggest issue, I think, is just sort of when we get the Whedon parts of the film, and I'm not gonna act like I know every Whedon part. I have some ideas, like anything that felt unnecessarily funny to lighten the mood. I think may have been a Whedon thing. There is one where I feel like it was totally Joss Whedon. And I'm not going to say that everything Joss Whedon didn't work in this film. I think Whedon's purpose was to lighten up the mood, and it's clear he did. Although to what extent and at what cost, I still don't think we're going to be aware of until again we see that cut. So, ending this here, I look forward to the future stuff from DC because I did enjoy Dawn of Justice. I liked Man of Steel. I still haven't seen Wonder Woman, sadly. I was gonna see it in theaters, but I just couldn't get the time to see it. And with the holidays coming up, I don't want to ruin anyone's chances of like gifting me the special Blu-ray extra 10-minute Wonder Woman movie. But I saw the results for that, and I kind of felt alright with like, well, it's doing good. Didn't need my money, but I will expect to be in the seats for the next few DC films. So this is the Bucket Think Tank signing off. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would love to hear your opinions of the Justice League movie, what you liked, what you didn't like, and we can go on from there. Again, this is the Bucket Think Tank signing out. May your fandom serve you well.